y'all, welcome back to Spirit of the Outdoors. Down here we're gonna do some talk about bags. Y'all know I'm not a fan of Bugout bag. I'm not gonna bug out. However, I understand the concept and understand where people's coming from with what they're doing. What I have is my camping gear, okay? And my philosophy is I want all my stuff together so that when I get time to go run hooks on the creek and I want to spend a night, that I can grab this bag, throw it in my boat, and I know that I've got everything I need to spend the night. And I'm not worried about it. The problem I have right now with this particular bag is it's not waterproof, which is not a huge deal. I have another piece of kit ordered that I am waiting to come in, which is basically a dry bag that's going to just fit down inside of it. The problem is it is already packed tight. The thing that I don't like is you see this bulge, you see how tight the zipper is on this bag? Well, even though you got plenty of room in this pocket, you can't stick like your water bottle so that it's readily available on the outside. So today in this video, we're gonna take the contents of this bag and transfer them back to my Alice pack. I've had an Alice pack for a long time. It has been in some old videos. My problem with the Alice pack was it was big enough that it tempted me to carry way too much gear. I just kept cramming stuff in there. I think I am at a place now that I know what I need and I'm not gonna carry a bunch of extra stuff. The good thing is with a bigger bag is you've got room to adjust and move and pick up if you find something along the way you need. If you kill some squirrels and want to stuff them in the top, you've got a place to put them. Now, before we start, right now, I've got this is old cheap dial scales. I weighed this bag, and I weighed it earlier just to see. It is sitting just shy of 30 pounds with the full contents, bag, everything. It is just under 30 pounds. And y'all, that is great for me, and I think I've got everything I need plus some. So what we're going to do in this video is pull everything out of here, talk a little bit about what I've got, and we're going to pack it back in the Alice pack. So let's get started. Now, the first thing is probably in the top of this bag. You have this zipper on the back. Now, I do like this. I have a glow stick in there. I have an extra camouflage bandana, pair of leather gloves, my Danforth headlamp. I've got my eating tool, my little multi-eating tool. There is a compass. Y'all, I really have no use for a compass. There's a little bit of real small line that has a needle tucked inside of it. I know you can't see that. I know everybody wants to know what you're carrying for the most part. This is in case I have a failure with like a strap or something comes loose. I can sit down and sew something back together. May not be a permanent fix, but it will temporarily get me out of a bind. Now that is everything up there in that top bag. So let's lay this thing down and start unpacking the inside of it. Now this is my clean canteen with a nesting cup. I'm gonna set it to the side right here because we're gonna pull everything out, lay it on the table, go back in the Alice pack. This is a survival bag. It has my fire kit in it. It has my water purification kit in it. And there's a few other things in there to help sustain fire. This is basically an emergency food bag and cooking bag. It has a bottle of my seasoning and it has a bottle of cooking oil, a small vial of cooking oil so that I can cook. Those are in separate bags. Now we'll go through these in later videos and break down each one of these bags and do an in-depth if somebody's interested. This is my cook kit. I built this cook kit myself out of this, that, and the other. My tarp. Now this is a rare tarp. It is just a nylon tarp. It has tent stakes, ridge line, everything to put this tarp up in this bag. I bought tent stakes. And they're in there. Fuel for my stove, My little small stove is inside my cooking kit. And that is just in case I need to cook and can't build a fire. And I'll explain why in a second. Let me get the rest of the contents out of this bag. I'm trying to do this where we don't make an extremely long video. It's not going to be short probably by any means. This is my military sleep system. I have the green bag. I have the military bivy bag. And then this is a military compression bag that is not really for this, but it works for this sleep system. So it's in there. This is my tarp. I mean, not my tarp. This is my hammock. And it does not have a bug net and all. Inside here is 2 tree straps that I bought separate and put in here. And there is a little bit of mosquito netting. And I have that because right now it is cool. The bugs are not prevalent. And then I have my, I don't know where this water come from in here. May not be water. This is my climate sleep pad. Goes in the hammock, insulates you from the ground. Wonderful piece of gear. I would recommend anybody have one of those. Now, inside the back stiff part, I have a small cooking grate. I also have a cutting board and a spatula. Y'all, this little thing, this don't weigh nothing, y'all. And it's handy to keep your stuff up out of the dirt. Lay it on top of anything, stump, whatever, to cut your meat up on, just to keep your stuff clean and off the ground. So that is a very handy piece of gear. And then I have my homemade wooden spatula that, you know, this other night when I was down here, I did not have all of that. Okay, now I know what is on, I know what's on my, this is leaking. See, this got compressed somehow or another and run some of that out. This is my bug spray. Y'all, I probably don't need it right now. And that's one of the reasons I'm getting out of this bag is stuff. It was so packed, so tight. Even at 30 pounds, I just didn't have enough room to put what I needed in it. Over here, my tomahawk. I want to talk about this just briefly for a second. I took the tomahawk because I can do a lot of different things with this tomahawk. I can pound steaks in the ground, and this is probably not the perfect tomahawk. I have the stuff together to build me a hand axe that I'm going to forge weld everything together, and it's going to be about this size, same concept where the stick goes through to where I can knock it off if I need to. But I don't want a small thing back here. I want a bigger hammerhead, so maybe just flat with the back of this. Pounding steaks in the ground, pounding whatever I need to. If I'm on a trap line, I need to dispatch animals and not use ammo. I can do all of those things. Cutting, I can chop, I can split, I do not like batoning my knife. I know there's a lot of people do it and they do that. I do not have a saw. I don't tote a saw. I have not found that a saw benefits me. I burn all my wood into. I'm not sawing up and bucking up firewood into perfect lengths. I drag stuff up there. If I can break it between 2 sticks, I do that. If not, I burn it into and keep moving, dragging it up and burning it into. Y'all, I found no reason to work yourself to death sawing wood and chopping wood. What little chopping I need to do, I can do with this. If I'm going to be in my John boat or on my buggy and it's going to be close, I'm going to have a full-size axe. If I'm in the canoe, I'm probably going to have a full-size axe. This is just in the case that I do have something with me. And that is everything out there. Now, this center bag has got my small accoutrements. So there is a multi-tool, the Gerber suspension. There's a Lansky's round rod, and that is just for touching up my knife. A little extra piece of tarred bank line. There's a Moria companion in here. This is the stainless. And that more makes a really good knife for a backup knife, cheap. I have an extra ferrocerium rod in here. There's a large ferrocerium rod in the other fire kit. I have a fillet knife. This is the Gerber, or no, this is a Kershaw, the extending fillet knife. This time of year with grinnell, and that's a lot of what I'm fishing for. It's not necessary to have all these knives, because I'm gonna have a knife on my side. I've usually got my big brother with me. I don't have it actually on my hip today because I have been crawling around working on a camper. That is everything out of there. This bag right now is empty. But this is just a cheap bag. I've spray painted on it. I have done a lot of things, and it's just not quite big enough for what I need to do. I don't use a compass a lot, y'all. I know where I'm at. I just have it because somebody will throw a fit and be like, you need a compass. And then if it's dark and I get turned around, it will help me out tremendously. Now, I don't know. I got this one. This is not a high dollar compass. If you know that like you're gonna need a compass and you're somewhere that you're not familiar with, you need a good compass. But spend a little money because you bet your life on it. But now if you got some general cardinal directions for where I'm at, if it'll point generally north, y'all, I'm not gonna walk in my area more than a mile or two that I'm gonna run into a road. If I can walk a general straight line within a couple of miles, I'm gonna hit a road somewhere. Probably 4 miles at best. I mean, it's that populated in everywhere east of the Mississippi River, which is where I'm at. If I venture out past that, I'll do something else. I always have my cell phone. As long as it has signal, I'm good there. So let's break out right now this Alice pack. This is a large Alice pack. I have not done all the mods that everybody does to it. I am going to put me a handle up here on this top. We'll do that later. I don't have a huge problem with all those stuff. My biggest gripe with this bag is when you set it down, it falls over forward. But that ain't no huge deal for me, I don't reckon. I do like the fact that in this bag, between the frame and the bag itself, I have a piece of grating. I may not need this grate here. This is a lot more heavy duty than what I have. So this right here is a thin, basically, piece of wire. It is some 1 inch by 1 inch mesh. Not gonna cook on a hot fire with it, but it will definitely make setting pots and pans and whatever a lot easier on you if you've got that. And it stays in there really, I mean, it's not taking up no room, no nothing. So as we start to go back in this bag, the thing I like about this is I have pockets on the outside for a lot of this stuff that I may need readily. My biggest thing is I didn't want my water bottle inside. I wanted to be able to get to it. So the first thing going in is this sleep system. This is a military sleep system. It's gonna go in the bottom of that bag, okay? The next thing going in under there, we're gonna put this climate sleep pad down at the bottom. And we probably fixing to already see my biggest gripe with this bag, is it wanting to turn over. But y'all, I don't need a whole lot of... All right, so let's talk about this tarp before I go back in there. I just briefly gonna break down what's in these things. In this bag here, it's just a little bit of mosquito netting. I have a blue one that is fully enclosed with a zip up mosquito net. Later in the year when the mosquitoes get really bad, I'll break it out. Now this is just a small, cheap, I don't even know if you can get this hammock anymore. It is a camouflage hammock. All it's got is the 2 hooks on either end. So in this bag, we have 2 tree straps. If you're gonna run a hammock, I encourage you to have a pair of these trees. They don't weigh a whole lot. Put them in your bag, and you ain't got to do a bunch of rigging and tying knots. If you're not familiar with how they work, we'll break down all of that in a hammock video if somebody wants to see that. I feel like it's been done to death on the internet. This came, and I'll link all of this stuff in the description below. So if you want this particular brand, probably not this hammock and probably not this tarp, because I don't think you can find them. And the other day I couldn't even find this clean canteen on there. So what of it is on the internet right now on Amazon, I'll link. This came with the carabiners hooked to your hook on your hammock. And this thing has loops sewed all the way down it. So what you can do is you can hook it anywhere in there you want. Pull your hammock tight, you ready to go. You just loop that around a tree. I mean, easy peasy. And I'm trying to hurry through this video, y'all, so that we don't wind up with an hour-long video. And I just wanted to briefly kind of go over what's in there. And I like everything in mostly dark colors, y'all, because let's face it, in the idea that you're going what we so-called bug out, in other words, things has got bad and you're having to do, you got to remember, anywhere you go, somebody owns that land. You're gonna have to hide from people. All this bright orange, I want to be seen. You need to signal. For the most part, guys, you're not gonna be signaling people. You're gonna be doing your best to hide from them. In a worst case scenario, now, if you stranded somewhere, you had one of these freak emergency fantasy survival situations. Well, I'm trying to be rescued. Well, then you're in a unique situation. You're not bugging out. You're survival, and for the most part, you probably ain't gonna have all this gear with you. Just the truth. If you got all this gear with you, most of us are camping out, and that's honest to God truth. But in the event that I am, so to speak, bugging out or whatever, for me, that's gonna be me going to look for food somewhere. I'm gonna be trying to sneak to somewhere and sneak back, and hopefully nobody sees me along the way. So we're gonna put that in there. The next, I'll put my tarp in there. My survival kit, this is a food bag, and it has like a couple of just add water meals from the grocery store, my bottle of oil, my bottle of seasoning. I think there's a couple of pack of instant grits. There's a bag of coffee in there. So I can make me a meal. I want that kind of really closer up toward the top if I can get it. This right here, my survival bag, there's a Joy Pure water filter in there. We'll go through this bag one day, break down everything in it, because for the sake of the video, I don't want to go through every bit of this kit today. We'll do that. If there's any of it that some of you want to see broke down individually, certain pieces, let me know which of it you want to see. Cook kit, we're gonna go right in here with it. That way it's somewhat up at the top. Actually, let me put this fuel canister in this little hole, and then that'll sit right up on top of there. You see how this bag keeps leaning further and further forward? That really drives me nuts. I don't know why, but it does. Now in the back, now that I've got to it, there's this extra little pouch that I've seen a lot of people really gripe about. That can go right down in there. I don't know if I'm gonna put this in this bag or not. I'm undecided. I probably should have put it, I don't think it will fit. We're gonna stick it right there for now, because I don't know what this bag's gonna weigh versus the other bag. So there, we're gonna slip this down in there. And that's pretty much everything that's going inside the bag, y'all. I don't want this thing. Now the next thing that I've got ordered is a dry bag. And I've seen several different people talk about different ways to cinch this up. You do it the way you want to. You're supposed to pull it under this loop right up here, I think. But anyway, we got it like it is right there. I'm not an expert with an Alice pack by no means. And I'm probably not gonna fill up every one of these packs out here. One of the biggest issues that I wanted was to be able to have extra room. So we're gonna put our canteen out here, and it's gonna take up one whole bag, and that is a whole idea. I wanted to be able to get to my water on the outside. I didn't want it inside the pack where I have got to break down the whole pack to get to it. So now out here, we're gonna start packing in some of this other stuff. We're gonna put all these extra knives over here. Utility tools. I have a glow stick, this camp eating tool, extra string. Actually, we're gonna put this extra string and a few things right up here just because. We're gonna put this knife sharpener in here. And so basically we have got a giant tool bag. This compass, I don't know, I'm gonna find one of these upper bags up here to stick it in. So these things right here, my gloves and my extra bandana, we're gonna pack into this top up here. I don't want no hard stuff up there in it. This little piece of fat wood. We don't have anything in this middle pack. That is where, in this front bag, that's where I'm gonna put my light. Now the beauty of this is now I have extra room for extra things. And with this, the way this thing leaked the other day, I don't know if I even want that in my bag or not. I'm hoping it don't get squished in this one and leak. So the next thing I didn't have in there is a shemagh. Now, in the summer, I usually got bandanas, plenty of do-rags. I don't really carry this, but in the winter, y'all, this thing is a heck of a piece of gear. If I get cold, to wrap around my neck, tuck it inside my jacket, I'm ready to go. So I'm not, and it's here in the South, y'all, we don't have a lot of cold weather, so I'm not gearing up for your climate up in North Dakota or in Massachusetts or in Michigan. I'm in Mississippi, central Mississippi. We down south, it's hot most of the year. A lot of this I'm not gonna need. One of the things that it's a good piece of camouflage. It's a good water filter. It is a little more porous and thin than my bandanas are, therefore making it a little better for that. I'm probably gonna go ahead and put it up here with my gloves, just so that it's all the loose stuff that I need up in here. Now y'all, with this, I have still got plenty of room in this bag for a lot more gear. Now I wanted to get my tomahawk probably on these pieces of molly. You see how they fit right down the side like that? So we are geared up. Now the question is what does this pack right here weigh now? So let me look. We are at 32.5 pounds. So that is not too much. I can deal with this. My biggest problem though is this bag trying to turn over all the time. It drives me nuts, y'all. I will say this, with this jacket on, it's hard to get in there. Make sure I got it right. There we go. Now I got it. All right, so we good now. The Alice pack. most everybody loves the Alice pack. I'm like a lot of the other people. It hadn't really been the best pack. I ain't crazy about it, but it's a bigger bag. I can fit more of my stuff in it. But now I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I don't do a lot of time walking and toting a bag. The biggest use I get out of a bag is everything is contained into one thing, and I can throw it in my canoe, I can throw it in my boat, and I know that, hey, I don't have to gather up all of my camping gear to go camping. And that way I can grab the bag and know I'm ready to go. I don't really think that I'm gonna bug out, so to speak. I don't really think that things is gonna get bad and I'm gonna go try to live out of this backpack. I think that I'm gonna have my gear together to where, hey, I'm going, and y'all see this? I don't know why that is stuff flying out of there. This knife right here is probably gonna have to go somewhere else. Number one, we need to snap all this stuff down. We're gonna have to find somewhere else for this knife to go, possibly up here across in this bag. That way it'll shut good. Snap all these things shut. I did not close any of them. You don't want to be losing your gear. And then this one, I don't know what to do about it. It's not going to close over that lid all the way. I guess I can loosen this out and make it close. Would be the smart thing to do. But y'all, I just don't think that bugging out is really a reality. I have talked about this in another video back last fall about where you're going with a bug out bag. You know, if you're in a city situation, I realize that you're going to probably have to get out of there. If you've got to get out on foot, though, you want everything camouflaged and OD green. And the reason is because you're going to be doing a lot of hiding. If it ever gets to a place that we got to grab this bag and go on a mission, and when I say a mission, I'm not talking about a fantasy like we're going to get our guns and go fight. I'm talking about, hey, I need to go get food for my family, and I'm going to try to go to where I know these fish are in a hole or where I know there's some game, because y'all, game is going to become really scarce. If it gets to where you can't go to the grocery store and buy groceries, it won't take long and you'll be hard pressed to find deer and squirrels and rabbits. You're going to be scrounging around to shoot crows and whatever else. You're going to be trying to trap different animals, small game. Fish is going to be a huge thing. You're going to be eating a lot of fish. And you're going to have to start traveling further and further to find it. And you're going to be hiding from other people to do this because they're going to be competing with you over it. And that's just the way this is going to more than likely play out if this fantasy scenario happens. So the ideal thing for me is this is my camping bag. And I like to have everything to where when I get time to get off work and I'm okay, I've got time to go to the swamp and spend the night. I don't really have time to gather all my stuff up. It takes me a while. It took me, we're sitting on about 30 minutes right now, swapping just the gear over into the other bag, and I did not stop and go through any in depth of it. So if you want to see this really broke down on what I am carrying, and y'all, I don't have ultralight gear. We at 30 pounds, and I feel like more than enough to go do what I'm going to do. The thing that I have on the way is I have a 40-liter dry bag that I am going to drop down inside of this pack and put my stuff in it and roll it up. And that is so that I'm not going to be out walking in the rain with it. I know these bags fill up with rain. There's no such thing as waterproofing them, they say. My main concern is it sitting in the bottom of the boat. I don't want my sleeping bag getting sopped with water. If that boat's they always get water in the bottom of them sloshing around the canoe with the paddles. I mean, I've been in boats long enough that I know that there's no such thing as keeping all the water out all the time. So I don't want my sleeping bag wet when I get ready to go to sleep. That is my number one thing. I don't want my hammock wet. I don't really want my sleeping pad wet. The cooking gear, a lot of the other stuff, not really gonna matter. Those other two little my food bag, I don't know if it's waterproof or not. But all of those things, you don't really want some of that gear wet. Now this stuff on the outside, I'm not worried about any of it. Even the shamag and the gloves and all that, you know, you prefer it not to get wet, but it's not really gonna hurt it if it does. I've got my tomahawk, and that is really the only cutting tool I'm gonna have other than the knife that's on my hip. But when you start talking about the principles of survival and you thinking, you know, I'm probably gonna lose this bag, I don't have my knife, like I said, on my hip, but I have my blades with me. And right now, I have adjusted some. Usually I'm carrying two knives. I've actually got a spare piece of string that I was doing something with, but I've got my number 72 tarred bank line, about 3 or 4 foot, anywhere from 3 to 6 foot hanked up. And it's got a little small carabiner on it. It's not for heavy weights. It's for a fish stringer for the most part. I've got my fish knife. It only has one blade on it, and then the fish scaler. During fishing season, that is a handy thing to have. I've got a ferrocerium rod in my pocket, and I've got a lighter in my pocket wrapped in duct tape. With this right here, y'all, I can make it pretty much with this. I can skin some food. I can build a fire to stay warm. I have some cordage, mainly to carry game around with me. So this is what's gonna be in my pockets. Plus, I usually, if I'm going somewhere, I've got my other knife in my pocket, and that is what I carry for the most part. I don't have my pistol on my side today. Like I said, I've been working, and I just run down here to make a video. If I leave going to the swamp, though, I'm gonna have a firearm of some description, either on my body or in this bag one. Usually I'm gonna have my 22 pistol on me. And that's mainly for, I'm not going snake hunting. When we was a kid, we used to ride in a boat and just shoot every snake we saw. But my thing is, like in a canoe, if he's trying to get in the boat with me, I'm probably gonna shoot him. The next thing is wild pigs. There's a lot of different stuff that's down there in that swamp. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not like protecting myself, but if I decide, hey, I want to eat one of this, or I need to eat this, I have a way of doing that. The next thing is it's self-protection from people. And that is the biggest thing with a firearm. I like the 22 in the summertime because it's not so loud, don't draw a lot of attention, it will get the job done. But I can procure food with it if I need to. It's just my handgun of choice, and I've got the little Ruger revolver now that I'm gonna be toting, a little Wrangler. So I like it, and I'd be able to change my hip knife out to a various array of different knives. I like knives. Sometimes I'll be toting my big buoys. Sometimes I'm just toting a regular brother knife. You never know. I may start toting a patch knife. You can't never tell. A lot of times it's just to test a knife out to see what it's doing and how I like it and how well I can use it for whatever task I'm doing. But anyway, to keep from making a great long video, I'm going to shut up, let y'all get back to your supper, sipping your coffee or whatever you're doing. Thank y'all for watching Spirit of the Outdoors. This is just a little rundown on the Alice pack and the way I've packed it and what I've got in it. Thank y'all for watching Spirit of the Outdoors. Remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one.